Professor X has been hiding the mutants. Long before mutants were even mentioned in the MCU, fans were already asking where they were hiding. According to one mind-bending theory, they weren't hiding at all. They were right there, in the shadows of every major MCU event, completely erased from memory by the most powerful mind on Earth, Professor Charles Xavier. This theory, born from deep Reddit corners and X-Men forums, suggests that Professor X used his immense psychic powers to wipe the idea of mutants from the minds of everyone on Earth, and not just shield them, but completely make people forget they ever existed for their own protection. After seeing decades of mutant persecution in the comics, it wouldn't be surprising if Charles decided that hiding was safer than fighting. And within the MCU's timeline, things only got worse. The Chitauri invasion, Ultron, Civil War, Thanos. Humanity barely trusted itself, let alone another species with world-shaking powers. For this reason, Charles keeps the mutants cloaked. Maybe Cerebro is upgraded to a global mind shield. Maybe every time someone spots a mutant, their memory resets. And maybe some of the strange, enhanced individuals mentioned in passing were actually mutants all along. But then came the snap. Thanos changed everything. In this theory, Charles realized that mutants cannot stay hidden anymore. Watching half the universe vanish was the last straw. Now that the universe is broken, there is no safe hiding place. He lets the veil drop slowly. At first, strange news stories and unexplained powers, then full-blown appearances. Suddenly, the X-Men are in the picture as if they'd always been part of it. Because in a way, they have. The emotional fallout would be wild. Imagine the Avengers discovering their memories had been tampered with. People like Doctor Strange or Wanda might be furious. Some would even consider it a betrayal, and this could spark new tension between Earth's heroes, not because of ideology, but because of memory. Call it Civil War 2.0, but with the X-Men this time. It's a theory that would give Marvel an elegant way to slot in the mutants without rebooting everything. And if true, it sets up one wild domino effect for everything to follow. Like maybe restoring something else that was lost during the snap. Something like the Infinity Stones. Adam Warlock will restore the Infinity Stones. Adam Warlock entered the MCU looking like a shiny golden weapon ready to explode, but many fans believe his true purpose goes way beyond a fight with the Guardians. In the comics, Adam has always had a cosmic connection to the Infinity Stones, especially the Soul Stone. He's been the guardian of the stones, the voice of reason during cosmic chaos, and sometimes the only one strong enough to use them without being completely destroyed. According to this theory, once Adam learns the stones were destroyed during the events of Endgame, he doesn't accept that balance can be maintained without them. For this reason, he begins a journey to recreate them, not by rebuilding the shattered remnants, but by tapping into the core energy of the universe. Some believe he will gather pieces of cosmic phenomena similar to how the stones originally represented aspects like space, time, and power. Yet the theory gets deeper, suggesting Adam won't keep the stones for himself. He will become the new Soul Stone Guardian and hand the rest to new champions across the MCU. Maybe Shang-Chi becomes linked to the Power Stone, or Doctor Strange is given a reformed Time Stone. Each hero would represent a part of the universe's natural order, restoring a cosmic balance Thanos tried to destroy. But not everything goes smoothly. Rebuilding the Infinity Stones would draw the attention of massive threats, like the Celestials, or even Kang, if he's still lurking across the timelines. Some theorists say Adam's journey might even unlock alternate versions of the stones from other timelines, blending multiverse logic with classic cosmic storytelling. If that happens, the Infinity Watch, a team from the comics, could form with Adam as the leader and various heroes each protecting a stone. And here's where it all gets risky. If Adam Warlock truly succeeds in restoring the Infinity Stones, he might accidentally cause fractures across the multiverse, weakening reality's boundaries. This would explain strange shifts in timelines, overlaps of different realities, and even people showing up from other universes with no memory of how they got there. And that's where the next theory begins, with a storm of multiverse chaos leading to the biggest crossover event Marvel could ever pull off. A huge multiverse crossover is coming. The multiverse in the MCU started as a quiet whisper, just a strange idea tossed around in Doctor Strange's library or hinted at in a Loki conversation. But ever since the multiverse saga took off, it has been growing louder, weirder, and more dangerous with every passing film. Now, fans believe all this chaos is leading toward one massive, insane crossover that could change everything forever. The theory is built around one of Marvel's biggest comic events, Secret Wars. In that storyline, universes start to collapse into each other, causing an all-out war on a patchwork planet called Battleworld. Each piece of the planet is from a different universe, and every version of a hero or villain is fighting to survive or dominate the rest. If Marvel adapts this into the MCU, we could see every character from every timeline thrown into one battleground. That means different versions of Spider-Man, possibly all the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and even the darker variants from What If and Loki might come crashing into one timeline. With Kang's multiverse-twisting antics and the growing instability of the timelines, all signs point to the MCU building toward this exact kind of madness. Some fans even believe incursions, like the one explained in Multiverse of Madness, are just the first cracks. The walls between realities are getting thinner, and soon everything will come crashing down. The most diabolical part is that not all versions of the heroes will be good. We could see evil Tony Starks, ruthless Black Panthers, or mutant versions of Avengers with twisted goals. That means alliances will be fragile, and betrayals could come from the people fans thought they trusted the most. In the middle of it all, there might be only one force trying to hold reality together, and it's not the Time Variance Authority anymore. If this crossover actually happens, it could also act as a reset button, allowing Marvel to retire old characters, introduce new actors, and reorganize the entire cinematic universe. It's the kind of event that could bring back characters long thought dead or erased, just to throw them into one final battle for the fate of existence. And if all of this multiverse madness is true, then something else must have kicked it all off. Something explosive, something cosmic, something like the snap giving birth to an entire generation of mutants. Mutants were born during the snap. When Thanos snapped his fingers, the world mourned the loss of half the universe. But what if that moment did more than just erase lives? Some fans believe the snap didn't just destroy, it created something new, something powerful, and something the world wasn't ready for. According to a wild but strangely possible theory, the immense surge of cosmic energy that blasted across the universe during each snap didn't just stop at reversing time or removing life. It might have triggered dormant mutations hidden deep inside ordinary humans. Rocket once said that each use of the Infinity Gauntlet released massive levels of cosmic radiation. That kind of raw, reality-bending energy could easily awaken something buried in human DNA, something ancient, something waiting. And in Marvel Comics, that thing has a name: the X gene. This theory suggests that the snap acted like a giant ignition switch, sparking the beginning of a new evolutionary branch of humanity. But these weren't lab experiments or alien accidents. These were real, natural-born mutants emerging for the first time. And there's even some suspicious evidence. Wanda and Pietro Maximoff were supposedly enhanced by experiments with the Mind Stone. But what if the stone didn't give them powers? There is a huge possibility that this stone just woke up what was already inside them. That changes everything. It means Wanda was a mutant all along. It means mutants have always been there, just silent, just hidden with their X gene dormant. Now imagine the snap happening 3 times. First by Thanos, then Hulk, then Tony. Each time, more cosmic energy rips through reality, spreading across the stars, touching every planet. That's 3 chances to flip the genetic switch in people all over the world. It explains how the mutant population could explode without anyone even noticing at first. And as those mutants grow stronger, more visible, and more dangerous, the world is going to react. Governments will panic, heroes will question their own humanity, and the balance of power will shift completely. And if that cosmic shockwave gave birth to mutants, it might have also triggered something darker. Because deep in the void, something massive may have stirred, something ancient, something hungry, something created by Thanos himself, with a name that sends entire galaxies into fear. Thanos created Galactus. When Thanos wiped out half of all life, the universe gasped, but some fans believe he didn't stop there. Buried in one of the most twisted Marvel theories yet is the idea that Thanos had a backup plan, a final play in case his snap didn't last forever. According to this theory, Thanos didn't just want balance through subtraction, he wanted it maintained forever. So before the Avengers could reverse his actions, the Mad Titan used the Infinity Stones one last time to create something truly monstrous, a cosmic predator that would devour worlds and keep population growth in check long after Thanos was gone. That predator was Galactus. In the comics, Galactus is a force of nature, a massive being who travels the universe consuming planets to survive. But this theory rewrites his origin, making him a living weapon engineered by Thanos himself. And the logic is horrifyingly sound. With the full power of the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos had the ability to create life, rewrite matter, and bend space-time to his will. After realizing someone might undo his work, he decides to design a godlike being that would handle the balancing act for him. Not by snapping fingers, but by eating entire civilizations. This would also explain why Thanos destroys the stones after the snap. Not just to prevent others from reversing his work, but to hide the fact that he used them to give birth to a planet-killing entity. If Galactus wakes up later in the MCU, it might not be random or ancient. It might be Thanos' last gift to the cosmos. If true, this would change everything. Galactus wouldn't be a villain from the dawn of time, he'd be a man-made apocalypse. And since he feeds on the energy of living worlds, Earth would be at the top of his menu. That would force every surviving hero, mutant, and cosmic being to band together for a final stand. It also means Thanos' shadow never truly left. Every disaster, every extinction-level threat after Endgame might trace back to him. And just when everyone thought the worst was over, the sky itself could crack open, revealing the hunger of the Titan's ultimate creation. And in that chaos, with heroes scattered and planets trembling, the only ones who might stand a chance could be the ones he tried to hide from the world, the mutants, finally stepping into the light. But the theories get even crazier. Dormamu tricked Doctor Strange. Some theories don't just flip the script, they rip it apart and rebuild it with darker threads. And this one involving Dormamu and Doctor Strange does exactly that. At first glance, Dormamu seemed like a one-and-done villain in the first Doctor Strange film, banished back to the Dark Dimension after Strange cleverly trapped him in an endless time loop. But this theory suggests Dormamu was never truly beaten. He was just biding his time, waiting for the right set of events to unfold, and he might have used Strange's own ego to set them all in motion. According to the theory, Dormammu saw in Doctor Strange a man full of pride, ambition, and an obsession with control. Strange's rise to Sorcerer Supreme was rapid and driven by the need to outsmart every enemy, no matter the cost. This made him a perfect pawn. Dormammu didn't need brute force to invade Earth again. He just needed the universe's biggest threats, Thanos, Tony Stark, and the Time Stone, out of the way. And he counted on Strange to help make that happen. In Avengers Infinity War, Strange peers into 14 million futures and chooses the one outcome that defeats Thanos. But this theory argues he wasn't choosing a victory for the Avengers. He was following the path that served Dormammu's hidden agenda. In the only future Strange allows to happen, Tony dies, Thanos is dusted, and the Time Stone is destroyed. It's the one reality where Dormammu's enemies are completely wiped out. That final moment when Strange hands over the stone may not be a sacrifice, but a calculated move to eliminate the last thing that kept Dormammu at bay. With the stone gone and Strange more powerful than ever, the last roadblocks between Dormammu and Earth have been cleared. And if Strange continues to make decisions from a place of ego and strategy, he might unknowingly open the door for Dormammu's return. The world trusts Strange, but this theory paints him as a misguided puppet master who may have doomed everyone without realizing it. And if that's not terrifying enough, imagine what happens when the ripples of this hidden plan begin warping reality itself, tearing cracks across dimensions and dragging in far more than just demons from the dark. Because once the multiverse truly unravels, the mutants might not be the only ones finally stepping into our world. And it gets even more interesting. Sue Storm's pregnancy will be crucial to the MCU timeline. Sue Storm's pregnancy might end up being the most important plot point in the entire next phase of the MCU. For years, fans waited for the Fantastic Four to enter the MCU, and now that they finally are, things are already more complicated than anyone expected. Marvel isn't giving us a classic origin story or placing them in Earth 616 right away. Instead, the team's first movie will show them navigating a parallel universe while running from an enemy who is powerful enough to swallow planets. And in the middle of all that chaos, Sue is pregnant. The latest trailer made it clear that this isn't just a background detail. We see Sue at different stages of her pregnancy, suggesting the film will take place across a wide chunk of time. From tender moments where the team celebrates the news to scenes of Sue in labor as Galactus approaches, the movie looks ready to dive into some serious cosmic madness. And that baby she's carrying, Franklin Richards, isn't just any child. In the comics, Franklin is one of the most powerful beings in the entire Marvel multiverse, capable of bending reality, creating new universes, and even defeating gods. The idea that Franklin might be born while the team is being hunted by Galactus raises all sorts of possibilities. Some believe the planet we see being consumed in the trailer is their original home, and they're forced to flee to Earth 616 to find safety. With the Silver Surfer now reimagined as Shalabal and actively chasing them down, the tension rises with every shot. What makes it even more intense is the timing. By the time the Fantastic Four settle into Earth 616, Sue has already given birth, meaning Franklin is very much part of the story going forward. This kind of timeline shakeup means we could see Franklin playing a central role in Avengers: Doomsday. His powers could even be the key to stopping Galactus or resetting whatever damage has already been done to the multiverse. Marvel seems to be using Sue's pregnancy not just as a plot twist, but as the quiet spark that sets up something huge. And if the rumors are true, the story that follows won't just change Earth 6116, it might twist the entire multiverse inside out or bring about a total reset. Phase 6's Secret Wars will reboot the MCU. Phase 6's Avengers, Secret Wars isn't just building toward another massive superhero brawl. It might quietly become the most important reset button Marvel has ever pushed in its cinematic history. In the comics, Secret Wars was a brutal, dimension-shattering crossover that collapsed entire realities into one chaotic world called Battle World. It forced heroes and villains from different timelines, universes, and worlds to face off, survive, or be erased. But once the dust settled, it also gave Marvel a clean slate to rework its entire universe without wiping away everything fans had loved before. That exact blueprint may be what Marvel Studios is now following with its live-action universe. After more than 15 years of interconnected movies, dozens of timelines, and now the constant chaos of multiversal events, the MCU is overflowing with characters, plot threads, and versions of heroes from alternate Earths. The scale has grown so massive that at some point, it becomes nearly impossible to keep everything in line. And Avengers: Secret Wars is set to change all that. With time travel, multiverse breaches, Kang variants, and cosmic forces like Galactus all colliding, the stage is set for a total breakdown of reality as we know it. By the end of Secret Wars, the MCU might rebuild itself into a new prime timeline. In this newly reformed universe, characters like the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and even mutants could be written in as if they had always been part of this world. There won't be a need for complicated backstories or universe jumping. Everything will feel natural and connected, even if behind the scenes it's the result of a controlled reboot. This move would allow Marvel to clean up old storylines, recast legacy roles, and introduce fresh narratives while honoring what came before. It's a soft reset without the loss of emotional investment. Heroes like Iron Man and Steve Rogers could stay gone or return in entirely new forms. Villains could rise with updated motivations tied to this reborn reality. And when Phase 7 begins, it could feel like the start of something new while still carrying the weight of everything that's come before. The multiverse may be tearing apart, but Marvel might use that chaos to stitch together something even bigger.